I'm Brooklyn, otherwise known as the Germanic Otaku, and today I am making a follow-up to my review of the You by Kotex reusable underwear, that is Bonds, You by Kotex reusable period underwear, and how they last a year later, as well as some common questions I get when I tell people that I wear reusable underwear instead of pads, or as a replacement for pads, as well as the brands that I use, the difference between the brands, and the do's and the don'ts for if you are starting to do this, or starting to go more renewable and wear period underwear. And I'm doing this now because I'm about to start my period. So first of all, I have 7 pairs of period underwear. I have 4 of the by Kotex. I have 2 pairs of Bonds, and I have 1 Love Luna. So first of all is the price between each sets or each brand. I genuinely don't know how much the Bonds is. Mum got these on sale, or saw them that they were on sale, and just bought them. I'm pretty sure the Bonds underwear is pretty expensive, but it does come in like different styles. These are the light and these are the heavy. Then is the by Kotex. These are probably the more expensive option. They are $22 per pair, and you only get 1 pair per pack. They have the heavy version, which has this. This is super, so this is super size, and this is that's not the lighter size, that is also super. Then is the lighter size, which is closer to regular underwear. First of all, I've got some notes in front of me that I will read off a little bit. Personally, first of all, I love period underwear. I have 7 of them, as I said, and I genuinely use them regularly, and I genuinely really love it. It has reduced the amount of pads and tampons I use. I don't wear tampons, but if I were to wear tampons, it has drastically reduced the waste that I have in terms of my consumption of pads, and I love that. That is the main reason I decided to go to period underwear after I heard what it's all about, and I'm actually highly considering finding or making some reusable period pads as well, just to hopefully cut that usage down by 0. I to this day do still buy pads, however it's once every 3 to 5 months rather than once every single month, which helps a lot. I tend to keep pads on me still. I have my little period bag that I keep on me at all times, which has some liners. Now this I actually use more so for cosplay than anything else, to have on the back of my heels. If you know cosplay, you know. If you don't, then don't worry about it. Where I also keep band-aids and some spare tampons and pads. This is usually if anyone in a bathroom needs these, or if I don't have an extra pair of period underwear on me. Usually the Love Luna underwear or the Bonds light underwear stays in this bag at all times unless I need to use it, where I've run out of my period underwear. I still do have pads and tampons. I haven't eliminated them completely, and I doubt I will, because there is just people who will still use disposable pads, and there will always be a person who will need a pad or a tampon in a bathroom, so I keep it on me for that reason, though most of the time, yeah, I'm usually wearing one of these. First question that I typically get when I say I wear reusable pads is period underwear worth it? Is it worth the hype? Should I get period underwear? My answer is yes, it is exactly the same as wearing a pad or regular underwear, depending on what brand, and it leaves pads and tampons out of landfill, making your impression on the earth slightly cleaner. The brands I use are Bonds, You by Kotex, and Love Luna. Love Luna can be found in Woolworths and is the cheapest of the 3. Bonds, I'm not too sure where my mum got them, but they were on sale, so they were probably slightly more expensive, that's why my mum bought them on sale. And you buy Kotex, it depends where you go, they can be from $18 to $24 depending on sales. And where I purchased them, I bought a set from Woolworths at $22 each, and from memory I got the second set from Chemist Warehouse at $18 each. A second question I get is, how do I typically wash them? With the exception of You Buy Kotex doesn't have it on the underwear, but it has it on the box that it comes in. Usually the period underwear, depending on what brand, will have the instructions written on the actual underwear itself. You can see it says like to wash with cold water, don't add fabric softener and all that. That's pretty much how you wash them. First of all, the first thing you should do after wearing these for a bit is wash them out by hand. Now, that may sound gross to you, and what you may be asking, what do I mean wash them out by hand? As in, just rinse it under a tap. Rinse it under a tap for like 3 to 5 minutes until the blood runs like off, the same you would with your dirty underwear. And I know some people like, I don't do that either way. I don't wash my dirty underwear, it just goes straight in the wash. I did that for a while too. Trust me, it is more beneficial to wash out the blood first and then throw it into the wash. Also, the note on cold washes and don't add fabric softener. I personally sometimes dump these in, or will usually dump these in with a regular wash, and like they haven't been super destroyed yet. So, and like even with these pairs, I've had these the longest, they're not super destroyed yet. So you can just wash them with regular stuff, with fabric softener, and they'll be completely fine. But do go by the recommendations. I would highly recommend. When I can, I will put these in a cold dark wash without any fabric softener. It's the same thing with my reusable makeup wipes that I have over there that are like Face Halo, I think it is now. They used to be Face Silk and now I think they're Face Halo. I will usually chuck those in with these. Yeah, it comes out completely fine no matter what you do. I will say, after a while, depending on what brand, there is a little bit of staining. Now, this doesn't mean that they're completely unusable. I did think this was just excess at first. No, it is straight up just a stain. It's partially bleaching from me having worn it for so long. So yeah, I will say that does tend to happen in these as well. It's underwear, and it is period underwear as well. Another question I get a lot is, does it feel weird to wear these? First time, yes. Yes, it feels weird because it feels like you're wearing regular underwear, at least depending on what type of brand. And I will talk about the feel between brands in a second, but just overall, does it feel weird? The first time you wear it, absolutely, especially if you, like me, decided the first couple of days you would wear your pad and then you would wear the period underwear, because you're going from wearing something and very much feeling something down there to having these and suddenly it doesn't feel like you're wearing a pad anymore and you freak out. I will admit sometimes I do still worry that it's leaking, and it doesn't. I have not leaked through any of my clothes with the pad of this. It hasn't leaked. Sometimes, depending again on what brand, there will be some leaking through the sides here, like right here, if it is super heavy, and I am known to have really heavy periods. So on the lighter ones, if you have a super heavy period in the first couple of days, I wouldn't recommend wearing these, obviously, because they are for light everyday use, but also because they will spill over the sides sometimes. Typically, if you have really heavy night sleeps, there is a brand, I don't think it's You Buy Kotex, it's similar to You Buy Kotex, that does nighttime ones as well. My mum bought those recently from memory, but she wears those and they work fine for her. But yes, if you are prone to heavy periods and heavy spillage during your sleep, then you will have to get one of these bigger ones, or go for specific ones or specific brands that have nighttime ones, because those will help you out significantly more. The different brands will have different periods the same as they have different period underwear, the same as they have with different flows for pads. If you look at the actual pads itself of the underwear, depending on what brand, you'll usually tell the difference and you can feel the difference. So I can feel this one's a lot lighter, it's less bulky, this one's more bulky. But that puts into play, okay, what does the light one feel like? What does the heavy one feel like? Because you've just said it feels bulky. So the heavy one usually actually feels more like you are wearing a pad. The light one feels like you're wearing normal underwear. Regardless of what brand, it feels like you're wearing normal underwear. The heavy ones feel like you're wearing a pad. So you can tell that it's there. Very first time using them, yes, it feels weird, but you get used to it. You wear them more, it feels fine. You're just wearing normal underwear pretty much. Next one is, how do you know if it's full? You kind of just know the same way you know with a pad. You can feel it being full. These take up to, oh, I don't know about the Bonds ones, but the You Buy Kotex ones take up to, at least these ones, they take up to 4 tampons. You can feel when these are full. For me, it's the middle of summer, that's why I bring this up. If you get really sweaty, then you might not be able to tell, but trust me, with these, you can tell when they're full, especially if it's the light ones as well. You won't be able to see, obviously, but you can feel it, absolutely. In terms of sleeping with these on, typically sleep with super on only. That is if I'm in my first 2 to 3 days. So first 2 to 3 days are really heavy for me. The last couple of days are really light. I will typically usually just sleep with these. Otherwise, these are just fine. Do you ever worry about spillage back here? Now, I will admit, one of these sets of underwears has spilt from right back here. But it was like once or twice. And it was because I had a much heavier flow than I thought, and I'd gone to sleep wearing an already dirty pad. Already dirty pad of this, which sounds TMI, but you need to hear this stuff if you want to get this stuff. That's the only time, and it's only because this is just cotton. It's just like regular underwear here. Again, if you want to combat that, get the ones that are for nighttime, that are like much higher up. How do I get through a regular day of wearing these? So as I said, these can take up to 4 tampons, or 4, I think it's 4 to 6, and then the light ones can take up to 3 tampons worth of blood. In terms of changing it, I will only on the really heavy days change them regularly. And again, that might sound gross, but realistically, which days are you changing your pad the most? So on my heavy days, so these 3, I have 3 heavy, I'm just going to refer to them as pads. What I'm talking about is the pad of the actual fucking underwear. I will change these on the first day twice. Second day, I'll be left with 1. So while I am washing these in the washing machine, I'll usually be wearing this, or if I'm washing all 3 at once, which is usually the best thing, I'll be wearing one of these. So sort of a dual point. On my heaviest days, I wear these and I have to wash them regularly. That's the one bad thing, is you're doing a lot more laundry when doing this, unless you have a lot. And as I said, I have 7 of these and I still have to wash them quite a lot when during my period. So when going out, I tend to not go out during my heavy days point blank. If I do it, I will limit it as much as possible to being within like 4 hours. When going out, unless I necessarily have to, like it is a necessity, I won't. And if I do, I'll limit it as much as possible, because changing these in public is admittedly extremely difficult, because you're walking around with a full pad, essentially. Admittedly, I haven't had this problem yet, but if I do happen to be in my period, I take a plastic bag with me either way. And if it is, it's usually a very small one, like a lunch bag or something, to carry this in. And I will have like this pair in here that I can change into. Otherwise, I will have a regular set of underwear and just put a regular pad on. I will always have a backup set of underwear, as you usually should if you're on your period or have a period bag. That is how I get around this on my heaviest days. But again, admittedly, I haven't had that problem yet. Whenever I've gone out, it has been for maybe 4 hours max, and then I get home and I can change this freely. Which leads me into washing these. As I said, it can take me less than 4 hours to like, or depending on the weather, if it's really, really hot, I will do it within like 3 hours. Usually for one full day, including sleep, I can go between using all 3 of these or using just 2 of these. This leads obviously into the problem of I have a really heavy period. I need to wash these. Because I have reusable underwear, it has become more of a chore to do washing more often on my period, which usually it hasn't because I would just use one set of underwear and change out the pads. This is why I'm also considering getting reusable pads, which would be the exact same. It just means it clips onto your underwear and you can change it more easily. If that is the case and like I go through that easy, I put one of these on for the 2 hours it takes to not only go through like a wash cycle, but then to put it in the dryer. And these all say you shouldn't put them in the dryer. Obviously, if you're on your period and don't have enough of these, just put them in the dryer, it's fine. Unless it is bonds. If you want to get period underwear or get multiple, I would recommend from multiple brands. I would recommend multiple types. If you have a very, very heavy period, get multiple of these. Get so many of these. And then get maybe 2 or 3 pairs of these, right? So far, 7 is doing me good. I would, again, like to get more, but these also do take up a lot of space in my underwear drawer. Thus, again, I'm trying to get reusable pads. That's a pretty unfortunate thing with washing these, is that you have to wash them often if you are on your period and dry them often. And it's unfortunate, especially since they say do not put in the dryer. Now, this is where we get into the pros and cons per brand. So, I am going to start with Bonds because this leads with the washing thing. The problem with washing these so much is, I don't know if you noticed me playing with these so much, but Bonds, for a con, moves. It's really unfortunate because the fabric, the extra layers in here is not connected to this line here. So, you know how I said earlier that there is some leaking and bleeding? I get that the most with Bonds, and that is because one of the layers that's inside this, and it's only this pair, it isn't this pair because this pair has less layers. One of the pairs is moving and I can feel it, and it's pretty uncomfortable in terms of it laying flat, because I can feel it moving. There is a separate layer, and this is I can feel the separate layer right here. This is the extra layer that's supposed to keep you safe, and it moves, which isn't favorable. It really isn't favorable. It's sewn up here, and it's sewn here just fine, but it is separated from the sides. So washing these tangles up the layer more, and it makes it really frustrating, especially when drying it as well, because I don't know if you've dried anything that's inside a sleeve, but it gets tangled up. So that makes me more likely to air dry these. But obviously, if you are on your period, you don't want to wait and air dry shit. You want to get it now. So the problem with Bonds, specifically the Super, is that the insides move if you dry them by a tumble dryer. If you air dry them like they suggest, they will be fine. But if you tumble dry them, then they're in trouble. The thin regular ones are completely fine and separate from this issue. But that is the problem I have with the Bonds Super ones. If you don't take care of these properly and do what I've been doing and just wash them in actual washers, this is just with Bonds, they crinkle. And it's not fun. It's really, really not fun. I want to get another set of Bonds because genuinely, the pros of Bonds, these are really fucking comfy. Obviously, Bonds is an underwear brand, so they know how to make underwear. This feels like regular underwear and pretty much is regular underwear, especially this pair. This is so fucking comfy to wear. I cannot understate. It feels just like normal underwear and I adore it. It's not too tight, it feels nice, the material's really nice, and like the actual pad itself is really absorbent for a lighter, you know, end of your period. Again, if you get Bonds, you really have to take care of them because if you do not, then it does the separating thing and is really, really uncomfortable. And when I say really, really uncomfortable, I more so mean you can feel it sliding around a little bit as if it kind of was a pad just sitting in your underwear and it wasn't adhered properly. That's kind of what I mean. Extremely, extremely comfortable. If you want to start on underwear that feels more like underwear and not like you're psyching yourself out and being like, this is period underwear, this is period underwear, this is the thing. If you want something that feels like normal underwear, this is the way to go. But you really have to take care of it. Otherwise, if for the Super you don't, it will move. And it's not the most pleasant thing to feel. Next is the original underwear that I reviewed. This is how it fares a year later. So first of all, I've gotten a little hole in it a year later. That's semi-normal. It's been a year. As I said, this stained. Now the reason why this particularly stained is because I left it for too long and that's why it stained. I tried to wash it 3 or 4 times to get this out and yeah, it just didn't happen, so it kind of like bleached and stained. So I wasn't sure if I should wear this for a while, but push came to shove and I need to wear it again. It's completely fine. It's like wearing other period stained underwear. I will say something that I think I mentioned, but I don't remember if I did mention in my original video. So first of all, these completely fine. These are my go-to for heavy periods. Like the inside pad is fine. I will say it does get a lot of fluff in it because it's like that kind of, not felt, but like it's the type of fabric to like pill a little bit and get like hair stuck in it. So usually before wear I have to like pull out hairs and all that sort of stuff because it just feels gross to have random hairs, especially because I have cats in this, so that's a little unfortunate, but it's nothing that you can't really handle. I will say absolutely wonderful if you want like a good starting pair of like period pants. It's fantastic, go for it, it's wonderful. My only drawback for these is that the waistband is too tight for me. Now, I thought this was something that would fade over time because, you know, with all underwear, the elastic stretches out. This feels just about as tight as it was when I got it, which is something that I don't appreciate on my period. So I wear these fully like up here-ish, or like here to here. And the problem is that I have a problem with the right side of my body in terms of ovulation and stuff. I do not know what it is. I'm trying to see if it is anything to do with endometriosis or just something else. Maybe it's related to anxiety. I do not know, but I, for the last year, have had last 2 years have had issues with this particular side of my body. But it gets exacerbated during my period. I don't know about you, just in general, I get bloating in this area, and having every single type of You by Kotex's like underwear dig into that area really, really upsets it and makes it worse. So when that is passing through my body as I am having cramps, it is so uncomfortable, especially when this digs into it, that I either have to pull it up further, making it pretty uncomfortable on the pussy, or I have to pull it lower, which just makes it weird to wear. So, I will say, for the first time for getting period underwear, absolutely, this is secure. Wear it to sleep. Wear it for, like, going out and feeling comfortable. Be one of those girls in those period ads that are just jumping around living life. That is what you can do in these underwear. You feel so very secure. There has been like no leakage from these underwear that I've had, with an exception being right up the back wearing an old like underwear that I hadn't like changed and had meant to change. But otherwise, never had a problem with this underwear except for the waistband. If you have really, really nasty cramps and pressure on your body makes it worse, or pressure on your colon makes like going to the bathroom worse for you, I wouldn't suggest these. I would suggest the Bonds instead. I wouldn't suggest these if you have really, really bad period cramps and pressure makes it worse. If you're fine with having a little bit of pressure as long as you're secure, then by all means, go with You by Kotex. I cannot highly recommend their underwear enough in terms of like keeping everything secure. It is literally just the waistband that pisses me off and it makes me feel viscerally uncomfortable. The Love Luna I don't actually wear enough because it's usually hiding in my period bag. And the thing is, I have some feelings about this. So first of all, I can only wear these on light days because I don't have the heavy version. I will say it's very comfortable like you're wearing regular underwear, but I like the type of like elastane lycra-ish stuff that it is on the back and all that. It does feel very thin, like I'm gonna bleed through it, but it's like secure enough that I won't, especially because it's an only light days kind of thing. I do really like, because I got these before Bonds, that they've got like stuff printed inside if you like lose a paper like I have with You by Kotex. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about these. I don't wear it enough because it's only on light days, and usually I'll wear like these for 4 days and then like wear these for the rest of the days. But then like I'll switch from wearing these back to wearing these and all that sort of stuff. Because I have 4 pairs of light underwear, I don't often wear these enough, again because it's hiding in my period bag. And a personal preference is I don't actually like this elastic on the waistband. This is just a personal thing. I just don't like the feeling of it. It's not hugely like nasty or anything like that. I'm just not a huge fan of this sort of trim on underwear point blank. I like it when it's like, maybe it feels like folded in half or something like that. Maybe that would have been fine. And it would have felt so much more like underwear. Like this feels like underwear to a degree, if you get what I mean. This is all like cotton and feels nice. Genuinely feels like underwear because it's made by Bonds. It's very clearly something for your period because it's made by You by Kotex. I don't know anything about Love Luna. This kind of just feels a bit like Spanx to me, but obviously it's underwear. It kind of feels like the nude underwear you would wear under dresses or stuff like that, unless you wear thongs. But I don't. So it feels like the nude underwear you wear under dresses. So, yeah, that for the most part, I really like these, except for this, like, elastic trim. It just, I think it's a sensory issue personally. I just don't like the way it feels. It doesn't, like, cut into me or anything, and when I'm wearing it, I can't usually feel it. It's just, like, a cosmetic thing and a personal preference thing for me. Love Luna is also the cheapest. Again, you can find it in Woolworths, and I would just highly recommend these if like you want something cheap and easy, and that is sort of relatively invisible under your like dresses and stuff. Like these are just like regular panties, so that like they feel like normal underwear. So sometimes it digs in, sometimes it doesn't. These are tight as shit. They do dig in and you can feel it and you can see it. For the most invisible feel, Love Luna is probably the best option for you. But I don't wear these that often because they are my go-to period emergency bag underwear, though I did swap it for these by accident, but I actually like the Bonds more. So that is my conclusion with period underwear. I don't think I'm gonna make another one of these. If I do, it'll be for like reusable pads. Again, I cannot recommend reusable period underwear highly enough. It's sustainable, it's easy, and it doesn't feel like you're wearing a pad constantly. It actually feels like you're just free bleeding all the time, kind of. There is definitely a difference between wearing regular underwear and wearing these. If you want the most underwear-like feel, go with Bonds. If you want the most security that you won't bleed through, go with You by Kotex. And if you want like something invisible that you can wear while going out and partying and shit like that, go with Love Luna. I don't know any other brands. I am gonna try and get the reusable pads from small businesses, or if I dare try and make one myself, but that will cost a lot of materials and I don't have money. So yeah, because I bought all of these. But yeah, that has been my review of the day. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys take on board, all my vagina having people take on board my experience, because it is definitely worth it. I have had some people going, oh my god, I could absolutely never do that. I say you should try it because it's a worthwhile investment into yourself. It just means you're gonna have to wash them a little more regularly when on your period, or invest in a lot of them. Start small, get maybe 2 pairs like I did. Still use pads, still have pads, but if you want to go like full 0 period waste, then I would recommend these. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!